beautiful people. I welcome you all to another beautiful episode of Talk to Be Extra. It's extra, baby. You know how we do it. On Talk to Be Extra, we discuss life issues, we discuss trending issues, we talk about issues that are disturbing our society. And today I have wonderful guest here, and we're going to be discussing about Japa syndrome. Why is everybody running away from the country? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Should they leave or should they stay? It's a very disturbing topic that we should talk about in our society. We have a lot of professionals who have left the country already. Why are they all leaving? I'm sure you know the obvious, but let's discuss it to teach people who are the people that are really eligible to travel. With me today are very intelligent people that we're going to talk about this together. I am Dr. Abiola Adebayo Akinrinde. Just in case you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. You can also follow me on Facebook as Abiola Ayomide Adebayo. I'll go for a break right now, but I'll be back shortly. So stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned on Talk to Be Extra. Like I told you earlier, it's very important that we discuss this Japa issue. And with me today to discuss this topic are this amazing guest of mine. Please, I'm sure you're just going to join me to put your hands together for my guest. Good to have you here, sir. I'm so honored to have you, sir. Okay, so from here, let's get to meet you.
My name is Ayoba Miladipo. They call me Mr. Posh. I'm a media practitioner and a social commentator.
Wow. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Victor Gonzalo. I'm a brand strategist.
Okay, sir, Gonzalo. That name is, I don't know. Please, what does he mean?
He's a Japa.
He's a Japa. Please, what does he mean?
Okay, it means the spirit of strength. It's a Brazilian name.
Wow.
We are Nigerians of Brazilian ancestors.
I'll be interested in that. I wish I don't introduce my topic. We have to talk about that, really. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sir. All right. So today, the contemplation would be on Japa syndrome. So I'm going to start from you, sir. Who are the people eligible to Japa in quotes? Is it for everybody? Should we all leave the country? Who are the people, in your opinion?
I think the new coinage given to leaving Nigeria to live abroad,
Yes.
called Japa, is self-explanatory in itself.
Yes.
But Japa in Yoruba means to live somewhere totally
Run away.
waste, to run away. So
Run
to
away.
speak. So before now, we've always had people relocating abroad, either to study, to raise a family, or for sundry issues, or some for economic and so on. But in recent time, it's the high influx that's beginning to cause a lot of concern, especially when you consider the brain drain, so to speak, when you have our best hands leaving almost all the sectors of the economy to relocate abroad, regardless of what they are going to eventually be doing over there. You see someone that's a bank manager in Nigeria leaving Nigeria to go and become a Uber driver or a security man abroad, either in Canada, US, or in the UK. So it's not for everybody, but like I said earlier, basically the connotation been given now is that it is for economic reasons, so to speak. Of course, the popular explanation or excuse most people have had the opportunity of speaking with, or those that I know are close to me that have said, they always saying, I'm leaving because of my children. But because of those children, you understand? So that is my own understanding of the scenario.
All right, and you, Mr. Poch.
Okay, so like you said, a lot of people tend to hang it on economic factors. So it's called seeking greener pastures. But I would say that Japa is not for everybody.
Okay.
As much as people, especially the young ones, so who are those that are even eligible to Japa? I'd say people in their 20s.
Okay.
Probably the late teenage age, the 19, then your 20s basically. But you see, when you're like you're almost 40 or 40 and above, and you're not a certified professional, and you're not skilled in any of this, what's it called? Menial jobs, skilled.
An
You're not a plumber.
artisan.
You're not an artisan, basically. How do you want to start? What do you want to do? So you're not an IT person. You don't render any major professional service. You're not a medical doctor. You're not a nurse. Um, you don't work in the engineering sector. So you want to start a care job where you probably have to work for 10 straight hours or 12 hours. So from there, you're working in another factory where you're picking another shift. So you hear people who live abroad saying, I'm trying to get shifts. And imagine where you had to probably do a straight 16 hours. So you're calculating your hours per week so you can make money. Now, at what age can you do all of that? When do you have that energy? When you're in your early 20s, where you still have the energy to jump around, probably it's easy for you. Will everyone who tries to japa make money abroad? No. It is not for everybody. So I'll tell you why. There are factors.
Okay.
Now, let's work around something. Let's say you work on a daily, maybe your 40 hours or even 60 hours per week, and in a month you make, let's use the UK as an example. So you make £4,000, and so now, which is realistically not not so feasible that you make £4,000 a month. Yes. Now, it now depends on where you are living. Are you living in London or outside of London? So if you live outside of London and you're living by yourself, probably you can still get accommodation for like £600 or thereabouts. So if you're paying
Outside London.
outside London. So now it depends on where you're living outside London too. So maybe some places in Manchester you can still get like that. If you're living like as far back, going deeper into saying like Southampton, Bristol, and the rest of them, maybe you can still live around. But if you're somewhere close to London, all of London, that's like a problem. Can you get a £600 apartment? No. So let's work with the £600. So you're doing £600 from your supposed 4,000, which is not possible. Which is realistically, you're not a, like I said,
you're not a
emphasis, you're not a
professional.
professional. So what you're doing is the care job that is readily available, that they package you from Lagos or anywhere in Nigeria to go to, and some people might still be taking part of your money. So you're paying your 600, you pay, what's it called? You pay your light bills, you pay all sort of tax, there'll be deductions. Maybe at the end of the month, what you have left is, let's say, 1,000 or thereabout. The you that have 1,000 wants to have savings. You will feed yourself. You will reach out to people at home who expect a minimum of 100,000 naira gift anytime they ask you for money. So when you send them 20k, 30k, they look at you like this person is stingy. Some 5-10 years ago, it used to be that people in UK are stingy. Meanwhile, those who blamed people in UK, those who cursed them that they are stingy, who gave them that tag are now in UK. So they now come back to say, oh, so this is how it is. I'll tell you for a fact that two things makes people stay abroad. Number one, the exchange rate. Secondly, for some people who just love aesthetics, the day the naira can be as low as right now, the day the naira gets to probably 200 or 300 naira, you see a lot of people. We have Jakpa, you see Dakpada. So you will see a lot of people
Dakpada, I
you see a
love
lot
that.
of people that will probably come back to Nigeria. You know why? Because you can live here. We live a communal life in Nigeria. I would say maybe Africa generally, but more in Nigeria, where I care for Mr. Gonzalo as my friend, as my brother. I care for you as my friend. I see the next person. We always have a way of sitting down together. We gather probably in the evenings or monthly. We look out for each other. Now you're living in a country where you don't even know your neighbor, your next door neighbor. Like I can go out from here and I can live in a house for 1 month and I would never see a neighbor. We won't meet. Not even because we don't want to meet. Our schedule. The Nigerian workspace is designed in a way that even if I move into a place, no matter how serene it is, if I want to know my neighbor, I know that in the evening, my neighbor should return from work. Or Saturday and Sunday. I will shall try Saturday morning. I want to see who is living the next place. You can't know. You can't do all of this. I've stayed in an apartment that is Airbnb, a 5-bedroom apartment where we had different rooms to ourselves. I did not know the other people in the same apartment.
Oh.
You don't get what? So when I say apartment, a 5-bedroom duplex. So
The
where
same
you
house.
just the same one duplex, one that is owned by one person, that we have different rooms to ourselves. And I did not know. So sometimes I'm just hearing sound in the next room. And I'm trying to understand, at least I should see somebody. I think the only person I ever saw was a Chinese guy. Can we communicate? No. So for FX, exchange rates is one of the reasons why people stay back abroad, because it is easy even when you have your £500. Imagine those who probably managed to save 1,500 and they came home for Christmas in December, and you are exchanging pounds at maybe
200 naira.
no pounds as a
No,
December
now
was
like 1,000.
1,007
Yeah,
or so.
it's
So if
almost-
you exchange 1,500, that should be about 3 point something million.
Million.
And you
Oh.
are staying 3 weeks. You ball now.
Ah, bola.
You ball.
You ball.
So you oppress those that are in Lagos. And at the end of the 3 weeks, you are gone. Now, most people go back to the UK at that time. No disrespect to them.
Yeah.
But they go back to the UK and probably what they have left is about 30 or 50 pounds. I stand to be correct and I can beat my chest that how many people in the UK can give you 50 pounds comfortably? How many of them can even pay you for your Uber? How many of them can take you out? You are going Dutch. It's your birthday, you people will pay. If you invite me for your birthday now, I should come with my own money, with my own drinks. There are factors, there are a whole lot. That's why you would see that some people, the moment, if they work for 6 months, they run back to Nigeria, you will see them. There are some that have frequent callers. They work for a year, they come home. I think it's more common with people who live in America. So when they go to work, probably 6 straight months, you see them, they are back in Lagos, they are jumping from party to party. Because once they are there, it's just work. There's no social life. You can't live like that. You collapse. But you see, when you are here in Lagos, in Nigeria, you can work Monday to Friday. You still find a way to squeeze weekends into it. Owambe is a part of us. As a matter of fact, Owambe probably starts from Thursdays sometimes, Fridays. So it's a part of us. You go to church on Sunday, and you know you are coming back to chill. Mr. Gonzalo here would wake up in the morning and probably exercise in the morning, gym, do all of that before setting for work. And in the evening, still have time to chill. You can't do it. 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., you are up and you are jumping train and straight you are off to work. You can't touch your phone. But it is in Nigeria that when you leave to resume work at 7 a.m., you still insult your boss and you still want to be with your phone. You cannot do it. We tend to respect the law when we are outside of Nigeria, but here we disobey it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Posh. Gonzalo, do you think it's worth it that people who are doing well in Nigeria sells their stuffs, sells houses, cars to relocate abroad? Some people said it's worth it because at the end of the day, you are going to be fine because you cannot continue to live here because of this unstable economy. What's your take on that, sir?
I think it's a matter of personal conviction.
Okay.
It's a matter of choice. I know people who sold their houses. I know people who resigned six-figure
Well-paying jobs.
people left their job to relocate. But like I said, like I told you earlier, let's not disconsider the fact that people take decisions based on their conviction. There are people that believes that with the way the economy is going, with the present reality, they do not see any sign of a light at the end of the tunnel. So they would rather pack it up and leave. And there are people who say, so you know what, like I mentioned earlier, they'll tell you that they are doing this because of their kids. Once they are abroad, the schools are better, maybe the schools are free, and the rest of it, and there's social security. So they get their children to say, why do people sell houses and properties and everything here and go buy citizenship of some countries? If you bring a particular amount into an economy in some countries, you become a citizen. So they want to do that. So it's a matter of choice. People can see that. You see someone doing well. Someone still told me yesterday, we're sitting together and talking. He's the CEO of a company. He said, Monlo, where are you going to? I said, I'm leaving Jai. Where are you leaving? He said, that November that I went to Canada, I went to look at how the places and all that. So I think I'm leaving my family by end of February. I said, wow. He's the CEO of a company. He's going to be laying off his staff to relocate abroad. So it's a matter of choice. There are people who are not doing so well here that I'll tell you that for no reason under the sun will they pack it up to go and live abroad. That they would rather be a clerk here than be a security abroad. And like Ayobami said, the choices people take is dependent on what they feel in their heart that is right for them. I do not see any reason except maybe the person has looked at it from both ends and there are no lights at the end of the tunnel. Why would I in my 50s leave Nigeria to relocate abroad? Number one, for health reasons, it's not even advisable. But for some people, it's their choice.
How do you mean for health reasons?
When you're 50, you can't stay in the cold. When you've crossed 40, you live all your life in Nigeria, you want to relocate to Canada. The first time you see, look at people that relocate abroad. Well, the first time you see people who stay in the cold, their hair turns white. Have you noticed? They go premature gray. So when you're your 40s going to 50, you're relocating abroad to go and stay in the cold. It's a lot. It's a lot to ask.
So you think it's better to rather stay in the heat here, have it here?
No. Okay. You see, we can't dictate to people how they want to live their lives. It's a matter of choice, like I said earlier. It's a matter of choice. Someone will tell you, well, I want to live because I want my children to have a brighter future. When they go abroad, they can have a brighter future. So people will tell you, okay, you know what? This business has been going down. Last year, year-on-year profit was 25%. This year, we're not even looking at getting up to 7%. How can I continue a system like this? But the truth is, by the time people get over there, they tend to see the reality. The reality will dawn on them. The social, the communal life you talked about, the kind of support system we have as Africans. If you have a major, if you have a family of 3 now, maybe you have 2 kids and you and your husband are living, your husband works somewhere, you're a businesswoman, and you quickly have a business you want to tend to, you have 2 kids. You can actually call your sister somewhere, or even call your neighbor or your friend's sister, come and stay with the kids while I could go to tend to this business. If you stay abroad, nothing like that. Nothing like that. So it's a lot. But I think to a large extent it's because of our economic realities, really. It's just because of our economic realities. Because come to think of it, if we have a functional system here, we have a social security that works, everything, we're not saying everything should work 100%. Let's even take it from the place of power, electricity. The impacts on the economy is a lot. It is a lot. My sister called from Canada and my kids were talking to her kids and they used to play together. Like, do they still take light in Nigeria? I said, yes. Said, it never blinked where they have. Said, it's our reality. But there's a lot more that we need to do to control this reality. Recently, It's being said now that the Japa that I spoke about, people are coming from abroad to do medical tourism in Nigeria now. It's on the high rise. Yeah. People are coming back from the UK, from Canada, from US to come and do their medicals in Nigeria.
Wow, because it's cheaper
It's
here.
cheaper. It's cheaper. Nigeria is a country that has everything that we need. The royal family in Saudi Arabia used to use UCH, Ibadan. Yes. You can check. Used to use UCH in Ibadan for their medicals and everything. So we begin to ask ourselves, at what point? I was at a book launch yesterday where the former governor of Lagos State, BRF, Raji Fashola, was talking about, at what point did we lose it? And the decline was so sharp that nobody or the people who ought to make a conscientious effort to check the drift did not. And we found ourselves drifting down to where we are today. Nigeria used to be a country where people used to put their children on buses to go to federal government college in Kaduna, in other places. You just take them to a park at maybe Ido or whatever. Parents don't follow them. They would have packed their boxes, put them on the train or buses, and they're going. Now today, you can't put a 15-year-old child
There were no phones then anyway.
on a bus from Ogba to Lagos Island. You can't. Your heart will be in your mouth. You understand? Kids used to walk from one place to the other. They would walk from Anikeja to like Surulere, God bless you, National Stadium, those places. Children will walk there to go and watch inter-sport matches and everything and walk back in groups. Can they do it today?
Yeah.
So these are the realities. These are the things these are the reasons why people are leaving. If you see a medical doctor in Nigeria that is earning, a medical doctor is earning 300,000,
Hey.
and then the same person, someone comes to him and tell him that if you are doing the same job in Australia, Canada, or UK, this X amount, and the first thing, like he mentioned, the first thing you do when you talk about relocating is the calculations, the numbers. It's the numbers you do. Now, a lot of people, these are the dark side when they say you are blindsided. People will tell you, you can earn £7,000 in a month if you do this, and this as a professional, as a medical practitioner, maybe in Canada, the CAD, Canadian dollars, if you can earn 15,000. The first thing you do is to carry a calculator and check how much is $15,000 compared to this, our Naira. And then you see the figure. Who waits? Let's be honest with ourselves. This brain drain, this jackpot thing we're talking about, it's just becoming very obvious with the UK system of people going to do masters and they can go with dependents and everything. This thing started a long time ago. If you remember, back in the 2000s, late 1990s, 2000s, when lecturers were leaving Nigeria for even South Africa. Professors were leaving our universities. Some of them came back with the advent of private universities. A lot of them came back because private universities, they pay well. But till tomorrow, you still get to see most of our doctors and nurses are the people that are the most sought after abroad, right? Check the best medical schools in Nigeria. They are public universities. Your Unilag, your IFE, your UI. Those are public universities. So you begin to ask yourself, if we have a system that works well, we used to have students from all over the world coming to study in Nigeria. I remember because our family house was in front of the University of Ibadan gates, Agbowo, and we used to see a lot of white people, white students in UI growing up. Yes. You see a lot of international students in Nigeria. And now our people, we are trained here. And you know our education system is one of the cheapest in the world.
Yes.
To train a medical student in Nigeria, how much is their school fees at Unilag? How much are they paying at IFE? How much are they paying at UI? Then you train them and then we lose them too.
So,
Now, yesterday, the I don't know what they call, maybe nursing council or whatever, the body controlling nursing practice in Nigeria said any nurse that wants to leave Nigeria now, you must have worked 2 years.
2 years, yes.
These are part of the things they are trying to do to check the brain drain, because the truth is education is heavily subsidized in Nigeria. You now train them,
Get the education here.
they get the education
Yeah,
here,
you take it away.
then they become the gain of another country.
Oh, well.
It's a major challenge. Except we get it right, we'll still be dancing around this same topic all the time. Because how do we retain our best hands?
Exactly. I was
How
actually
do we
coming to
retain our
that.
best hands? Now, it's even left the sphere of education to sports even. You see, this current AFCON that is going on, this Nations Cup, people should give those boys that are born and bred abroad some credits. They have all the options to play for other countries now. We remember some of our best athletes were leaving at some point. Obi Kwelu left. I can't remember the other lady left. Even Victor Igali left.
Yes.
He was a wrestler. He left for Canada. Obi Kwelu left for Portugal, I think.
Yeah.
We will lose. We have kids who are fantastic talents in sports. But when you look at it, I've had people sit with me and say, Toba Jewo, would you allow your children play for Nigeria? That if they break their leg, nobody remembers them. But when they play abroad, if they represent a country abroad, they are secured for life.
That's right.
These are questions we need to ask ourselves. We should not be sentimental about it. Everybody wants the best for themselves.
That's right.
And self-preservation is the first law.
Of course. Even Yorubas, we say, "Ti igiba wudugi." Thank you so much,
understand?
Danzano. Mr. Poch, do you want to back that up, or I should go to my next question?
No, you can go to your next question. We can add it together.
Okay. Now, I was going to ask that with our economic system at this moment, if you are opportune to be the president of Nigeria today, what are the first 3 things that you're going to change?
Well, you see, the first 3 things to change. Okay, I think I will start by saying that at the moment, and without sounding political, at the moment, I am 100% in sync with the ongoing reforms in Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
I said without sounding political.
Okay.
I am 100% in sync with the ongoing reforms in Nigeria. Would I have want to bring back subsidy? No.
Okay.
So let's start from there. Fuel subsidy, would I want to bring it back? Would I want to keep enriching some sect of people that are called the owners of Nigeria that are now probably up to 1,000 in a country of about 200 million? No. Where we lose billions of dollars annually or even trillions. Would I want to continue that part? No.
That part.
But if I
So
would
you would have done the same.
I 1,000,000 times.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I'll put it to you this way. You see, when there's a problem in a home, and we keep applying the cosmetic approach to manage it. If this door is faulty, and you know that this is the way to break into your house, and you feel that the only way to keep doing is to keep putting nails to hang the door. Every time you keep patching it. That's the cosmetic approach. If the rightful correction is for us to fix a new door, get this one out and bring a metal door,
At once.
that will be the solution. But number one, to get the metal door means you're paying more money. Do you have it? If this will cost you 30,000 and you know you don't have to buy, you're just buying nail of maybe 5 naira, 10 naira every time, but you need maybe 200,000 to buy the metal door. So sometimes we tend to so you weigh your scale of preference and you feel, let me still manage this first. But there is the need for a solution. Go to the root cause of these issues. Take it out. It will be painful a bit. When you see a dentist, if you have any issues with your tooth, and they keep giving you painkillers, does it take away the bacteria? Does it take it away? No. But when the moment it gets so rotten, you need to pull it out. Will it not be painful? Sometimes you are not even allowed to go on the plane after that extraction. So they tell you probably for 2 weeks, you can't go on the plane. No matter what's important to you in this life, you cannot. Yes, you can ask a dentist because you are exposing your life to danger. It's risky medically when you just have an extraction, tooth extraction. You can't jump on the plane. No. Now, so would I have done the same? Yes, I would have. But you see, when it has to do with health, then social amenities, basic social investment for people. Health is important, where I know that I can walk into the public health offices. We had a primary health care system that was extremely functional in the 90s, where many of our mothers, that was the only place that we knew. I would remind you that when private institutions, from education, like Gonzalo mentioned earlier, to even private hospitals started coming in, our mothers didn't trust them.
That's right.
I remember that my mom would not encourage going to a private hospital then, even when it was around our houses, because they started with these 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom flats. So we would rather go and see Mommy Sheye, God rest her soul. Mommy Sheye, there is a nurse in General Hospital who is our family friend. So we'll go and meet her at home for injection, but we'll not go to the private hospital.
Okay.
You understand? So when the health sector is refined, where the trust of the people, that's one thing that government. So if I would be a president, I would want to restore the faith and the trust of the people in governance. Because when people trust government agencies, you know that if I'm sick, I can walk into the health center. I can get painkillers. I can get treated, and I know that I'm getting quality. When even the people that works there don't treat you like you are some fugitive, they don't treat you like they are doing you a favor. They are rendering service. That's the Niger spirit. Not when you make people look like they are worthless when they come to the hospitals. Where you see some very matron. There are some there are people that they call mommy matron. When you meet them in general hospital and health centers, mommy matron. Even though you are not their family member, respect them. Those are their problems. They want you to idolize them. Now, when you now think of so social amenities, road, electricity, you see, the day we can achieve stable power supply in Nigeria, where our roads are smooth on 100, and you can have health, we're as good as 75 to 80%. We're as good as 75 to 80%. So if we have the infrastructural development to a very sizable extent, that a Nigerian can comfortably leave. I can leave Ogba to I have a meeting on the island, and map says 30 minutes, and my 30 minutes will be 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
What are some of the things that makes the Western world better than us? They have a working system. In the UK, there's no way you are going to. In the whole of UK, if your map says you get there in 30 minutes, the max that can happen to you is to get there in 33 minutes. And that 33 minutes is because there's something that happened at the train station, and it would not take more than 2 minutes. There's no way. You cannot have a 1 hour delay as long as you are moving, except something happens and they are not moving at that period. It would have been communicated. But you won't be stuck in one traffic and somebody is waiting for you, and you have an appointment, it's business, or you have family, and you are losing it. Or somebody is sick and you are rushing to the hospital. No. But here, you can walk to the hospital easily. Even at midnight, you cannot walk into the hospital abroad like that. Because for you to even see the doctor, you would have been booking appointments. The appointment might be, this is February, and maybe your appointment is the end of the month. But if I want to see a doctor in Nigeria today, I'm driving there, you still even call the doctor. The doctor will come even on self-recognition, even if he's so tired. So if we have electricity, you have the road infrastructure, and what's the third thing I even mentioned? Road, then health. We are good. education needs to come back to the way it was. When I was in secondary school, I attended Methodist High School, Arigbajo, Ifo. Now, private schools that started at that time, I would have mentioned some of those schools now, but so that it doesn't look like I'm trying to wash them. Okay. But for rivalry's sake, I would have mentioned them. Private schools anyway. that started then. I know students that went to Rex Age. My mom was a teacher in a government school, in a primary school. We were seeing those in those private schools as lazy. To us, they were lazy. They couldn't meet up with our standard academically. So it was private schools was for those that couldn't write, that failed common entrance, that could not even meet up in school. So once they fail in GS1, GS2, they take them to private school. Now, private schools are now churning out some good talent. Maybe not so good talent, because still, like Ganzi said, all of the best, or maybe if I won't say all, 98% of the best medical students, medical graduates that we have in Nigeria today are from the public institutions. From UNILAG, from your Luth to UCH to Ife, OSUT. It didn't include OSUT. That's my own alma mater, so we'll mention it too.
That's right.
So all of them are from the public sector. So now, how do we get back there? Is to bring, when you raise the standard, the people, the belief, the faith of the people goes back into government-related agencies. It is extremely needed for Nigerians to get back to the days where we trust governance, where we trust the people who are leading us. When they say that this will be done, and we believe that they are saying it. When nothing sounds like it's a political statement. When it doesn't sound like they're just trying to say this. When they give us a 10-week time frame to fix a road, let it be 10 weeks. Let it not be 10 weeks turned 6 months. If you tell us that this road will be ready in 7 weeks, please, let's abide by, let's have the Nigerian mind that says 7 weeks, max 8 weeks. Not 7 weeks that now turns another 4 months. No, that's not what we want. And it is we, the people, because the leaders are a product of this, our society.
That's right.
So there's a need for everybody. The renewedness of mind needs to touch all of us. All of us. So to make a Nigeria work that will reduce the people that you see jumping on the plane and everybody is trying to Japa and everybody is running away, either for good or for whatever, either it's going to be fruitful or not, we need to make Nigeria work. We really need to make it work. And for the Japa side of it, like I said, so will it work for everybody? No. But it will definitely work for some people. You see, most of those that Japa really works for are those who, they were struggling in Nigeria. They've been struggling. And somehow they find a way out. Do you know, you have the very hardworking, that they work hard, but they barely make 150,000 a month. So if that kind of person gets an opportunity to travel, shebi is work. So you see them, they work. Even when you see them outside of Nigeria, you still see on them, it is just work. I just have to make this money. They're working around the clock. The only thing they are doing is, they are trying to invest back home, build houses. But when you have to sell your property, sell your home, sell your houses and all of that to relocate. Yes, for people who believe it is for their kids, for educational purpose, and some that are probably in their 50s already and they have the finances, they don't need to do much work. And so they just want to relax. They want a serene environment. It's also good. But if you are financially comfortable in Nigeria, Nigeria is a place where you can build your own castle in your head. You can build comfort for yourself when you have the finances. You can build your imaginary heaven. In Nigeria. Can you do it abroad? You cannot. As a matter of fact, even the structure of your home is designed by government. The difference is you have the freedom, the liberty to do what you want here, even legally, not illegally now. But abroad, your life is configured by government. in the UK, ideally, you cannot drive 3 cars.
How?
Number one, government has built your house with parking space. You can only park 2. Nothing can make you have 3. So you cannot have a G-Wagon, you have a truck for Mopo, and you have this one. You cannot. No Mopo is following anybody. You cannot. There are some houses that you even live in. You can't park in front of your house. You just park on the streets. And all the cars are aligned. They did not burn your father. You can't take it out of there. There are places inside London that you cannot drive to and park. You cannot.
Not even your visitors.
Exactly. So imagine when you are saying that you are coming from Ikeja to Lekki. Because you are driving from Ikeja, you cannot park in Lekki. Because you are driving from Ikeja. That car is not registered to that axis. You cannot. There are things that you can't do. But you see, it's easy for us to water down Nigeria. Nigeria is a this, a nonsense country. Yeah. But it's a collaborative effort. I feel that when the narrative start tilting towards we wanting to build Nigeria and renew the image, rebrand the image of Nigeria, the global acceptance of Nigeria, it would be something that will stick into the mind and brains of our leaders. It's something that we need to keep pushing to them. Talk about it on a daily. We want a Nigeria that works, a nation that is productive. We want a system that works. We want the road where Lasma is not running after cars, where traffic lights, we all obey it. And you know that if I beat traffic lights, I don't need Lasma to run after me. The ticket will come. So at that time, what do we need Lasma to do? Just ensure that, so that you don't take them out of job and replace them by just robots. So that you just know that they are there to monitor the physical events, incident on the road. We do our part as Nigerians, as citizens. Let those at the helm of affairs do theirs to make sure that we can live peacefully, secure the people, give us good health system such that the life expectancy of the average Nigerian would not be, I think it's 50 something or so. The life expectancy of a Nigerian. So that we can at least, let's have the one that Bible gave us 70. So after that, we now extend. So, and we have infrastructure.
All right, thank you, Mr. Posh. Please, I would like to ask you, Galanzo, if you are to be the president of this great nation now, what are the first 3 things that you're going to change?
It's a tricky question. I say it's tricky because half the time, before I entered this room, I had it in mind that, I'm coming on this program, I'm coming to speak. But by the time I sit here, the reality will dawn.
Yes. Get there first.
Yes. Half the time, it's easy to say. I'm sure the person at the saddle of affair at the helms of affair right now is feeling it too. He must have had the picture in his head when he was aspiring and campaigning and everything, and then seeing the reality on ground. By the time you see, I had a lecturer in school. He used to say that by the time you move from the passenger seat to the driver's seat, your view of the road will change.
That's right.
So, now, speaking from, just speaking figuratively now, or hypothetically, I'll say that the first thing Nigerians want to see their leader do is to lead by example. Is to lead by example. Show sincerity of purpose. I'll make a reference to BRF again. When Fashola was governor of Lagos State, it was like we brought the guy from Mars. He was totally different. He never uses siren. He never breaks traffic lights. He will sit in traffic. Half the time, you see, we saw a governor that was always with books. You understand? We saw someone that was like, he was like a model of the kind of leader Nigerians want. He became the example to a lot of people. Now, what am I saying? When a leader lives with sincerity of purpose, when the people can relate to what he's doing, first thing I'll do, it might sound base, is to reduce the cost of governance.
Hey.
Nigerians will look at you and say, these people are saying they cannot increase minimum wage. Look at how much our legislators are taking home. I know this is not a unilateral decision the executive can take. You can't just say you want to make a pronouncement to cut the cost of the legislature. But if the president says, you know what, I as the president of this country, I do not need 15 jets in my fleet. I'm saying that if 70 million, so to speak, is my take home every month, let's cut it to 35 because of our present economic realities. And then you say, you know what, you are a political party. You work hand in hand. The presidency, we knew what played out when the Senate president was to be elected. You talk to him, we sit together, guys, for the good of this nation, let's cut your budgets. You can't say legislators are buying SUV of 200 million and you are telling people that you can't pay 35, 70 million minimum wage. People cannot reconcile it. It's difficult for people to accept. You see the budget of Aso Rock to be 10 billion for feeding in the national budget. People, it might not be what they eventually spend. But communicating it alone, it sends the wrong picture to the people.
That's right.
If you're buying an SUV of 300 million, 400 million bulletproof cars for governors, they begin to ask themselves, okay, what was the former governor using? Is it that the car expires every 4 years? What is wrong with our legislators having their vehicles that, okay, you know what, a vehicle is signed to this office for the next 10 years? Because the National Assembly maintains it anyway. You understand? You hear legislators having wardrobe allowance of X amount. People will begin to ask questions. Shagbada no no warning. You begin to ask questions. They begin to, you understand? So if we live by example, even when things are hard, at least he is feeling it too. He's identifying with us. It has a lot to do with his psyche. You understand? It sends the right message to the people. We are in this together. If you as the head of an organization comes into the office and say, you know what, guys, we did not make money this month. But this and this are what is expected to come to me. But because of this, let us prorate and say, you know what, we all will go through this together. There's a way that communicates and wins the confidence of the people. Like you are saying that you want Nigerians to have confidence in our health system, in our education system, in our public amenities and system. So it should start from the top. Recently, the president made something close to that by cutting the number of people on his entourage to a particular event. Before, it used to be a large entourage. The president is going somewhere, you have 70, 80 people going with him. Every single person will collect extra code. They will fly on the public bus. The hotel, they will stay over there. You understand? So by the time our leaders begin to lead by example, I'll make a reference again. When a state governor, look at the men that we see as the founding fathers of our democracy and the people that laid the foundation of this nation. Let's come to Lagos State. Look at Alhaji Jakonde. Alhaji Jakonde was governor of Lagos State, and when he was out of government as governor, he went back to his house in Ilupeju. Till Baba died, he was living in Ilupeju. BRF stays in Surulere. The house he was staying before he became governor was the house he went back to. These are things that people try to... That's why you see them say, you go abroad and they'll see a prime minister walk into a supermarket. And people want to take pictures with him. It is not because they are superhumans, but because they understand the importance of letting the people identify with what you do, letting them see you for who you are, as being one of them. Because ostentatious living is one of the things that hikes Nigerians about our leaders. That is the truth. That is the truth. Yes, we know you were rich before you got there, of course. No poor man can become even a local government chairman in Nigeria because you spend tons of money to get to that office. But when you get to that office, let us see that you are going an extra mile. You are feeling the pain of the people yourself. Now, when you're doing this, and then we have our infrastructure, you see, there are basic amenities. There are things that are very, very important. Power, like you mentioned, healthcare, education. If we have good roads, what is the reason why we have
food? Nobody is mentioning food.
Yeah, no, I'm coming to that.
It's expensive.
See, I'm coming to that.
65,000 bag of rice.
I'm coming to that. It's a multiplier effect. If you are bringing tomatoes or yam from Makurdi or Kano, if it spends 2 days on the road to get to Lagos, you know the additional 2 days you are paying for fuel, you are paying for the transportation. What will the seller do? It will transfer the costs. But if our rail system is working well, if we have good roads, you don't need to carry the food and they will because if you have 50 baskets of tomatoes between yesterday and today, some would have gotten rotten, right? So what you sell is the good ones. So the cost of producing it, you transfer it to the good ones. But imagine that you have a 50 basket of tomatoes, it leaves the farm and gets to the market fresh.
Using the train,
the rail system for haulage and all that. It will be easier. If our roads are good, the cost of transportation will be better. Because the more the public transport, the buses and the whatever, the public transport system, the more, like if you enter a bus now from Lagos to, let's even use a very base example, a bus that applies Ogba to Marina. The plan is that with a full tank, he will do 5 trips a day. He has calculated this X amount he will make. Then there's bad road and gridlock. He now spends, each trip, he spends 2 hours for a trip or 15 minutes. He will transfer the cost to the passengers now. It's simple. When the amenities are not in place, if what you are selling downstairs, you guys have a factory downstairs, and there's constant electricity, and you use 10,000 power every month. You produce your stuff, you sell at, when you spend 10,000 on power, you sell at 3,500 per item. Now there's no power. You are using diesel generator. You now spend 70,000 on diesel every month. Will you be profitable to sell at 3,500?
No.
Those are the realities. So these basic amenities, if government can provide it, it will help in a long way. It will go a long way to help in alleviating the hardship on the people. Because the truth is, sometimes you ask yourself, okay, are Nigerians asking for too much? No. They're not asking for too much. Nigerians are not people that, we just want to enjoy our lives. And we're hardworking people, we're not lazy. You've been to countries where you hear that most of their young men don't go to work. They just sit at home, they don't care. But Nigerians, an average Nigerian man wants to work. When you're working, you see in the morning, the next day you want to wake up again and go again. Because when these basic amenities are in place, if government can prioritize these things, it will go a long way. It will go a long way, and then our system of governance is expensive. It's really expensive. What are we doing with a bicameral legislation? If we want to go into the dynamic, the fundamentals now, what are we doing with 2 legislative chambers? We have the Senate
and the House of Reps.
We have the House of Reps. We say we are practicing a federal system of government, but in the real sense of it, we are practicing a unitary system of government. Even our constitution is not clear on the delineations between the states and the federal. Do you understand? So our problems are fundamental. But as much as they are fundamental, we know that not one government can come into place and make a clean sweep of correcting everything. Start with the basics. If you come, fix lights. May another person come. fix aviation. Make another person come, fix roads.
Thank you so much, Galanzo. I have
Gonzalo.
Gonzalo. Thank you so much, Gonzalo. So I have two more questions and I will let you go. And the first question would be, if you have, okay, I'm going to start from you now, Mr. Posh. If you have $1 million today, would you allow your children to school in Nigeria?
If I have $1 million, that's 1.7 billion. They will school in Nigeria comfortably.
Tell us.
They will school in Nigeria because I will see them on a daily. I'm assured of their security and I'm assured of the moral values that I want to instill in them. Comfortably. They go to their schools. If I need to have 3 more posts follow them, it's still Nigeria, I will get it. Go to school and come back home.
They will school in Nigeria.
If for whatever reason, so they can always travel abroad to see how life is. Traveling is it's an education on its own. It's good. It allows you to understand the global scope. It makes you see life in a more different views. So you are not boxed to a corner. But if I have $1 million, about 1.7 billion, why do they need to school abroad? Let them go to school, come back, let's gist together, let's grow together. Okay,
Gazi, what about you? If you have $1 million today,
I don't even need $1 million to. I've always said he's my friend. A lot of my friend, people know me. I'm unequivocal about it. My children cannot live abroad until after secondary school, if they have to live abroad.
okay.
I do not want to lose my children to a foreign culture. If there's anything I hold very dear, it's my family. I'm comfortable enough to attempt to relocate them abroad, but no, I won't. Because I do not believe that I should lose their formative years to a system that they cannot readily identify with later in life. You see a lot of people today born abroad trying to retrace their roots to Nigeria and all that. People make this mistake of thinking that living abroad and having all those social facilities and everything, there's nothing like home. I'll tell you, 1,000 times I'll tell people, there's nothing like home. Having my children living abroad and I see them 2-3 times a year, when they are out of secondary schools, if for any reason they want to go to school abroad, maybe for their university education or anything, they will. But right now, until they're out of secondary school, my children cannot live abroad. I don't even need $1 million. I'm comfortable enough to say that if they want to go abroad, they can, but I won't allow it. Because to a large extent, the culture we are neglecting, a lot of people are chasing after it, to learn it, to inculcate it, to understand how it is. I have families that live abroad. I have friends that live abroad. I've seen it happen. I've seen them complain about these things. That's why I laugh at people who live here in Nigeria. We can be overtly religious and sentimental. I know families where you can't call their children by Yoruba names. You know this thing they call Oriki in Yoruba? Ajike, Agbeke. A mother-in-law came, you know how our mothers can be, and she was calling the children by their Oriki. And the wife complained to the husband that the mom is teaching them things that are fetish. Because she calls one Akonji and she calls the other one a baby. You understand? So these are things that people might not realize it now. People might not realize it now. When you have your children, except you're living with them abroad, and I can't even live abroad. I can't even live abroad. Maybe I go for business, maybe I go for trainings, maybe I go for holidays, leisure and all that. Yes, they can travel abroad for holidays and all that. But children in their formative years, living abroad, I'm not condemning it. Like I mentioned earlier in the course of this discourse, people take decisions based on their convictions. But I do not buy that conviction of having my children, Nigerian children, my own children, growing up in another land where I would then lose them to the culture of that place. No, I don't know.
But
It's not.
some people, we lose our children here too in Nigeria. I'm not praying for that. What happens to that?
It's a function of the family.
Okay.
It's a function of
Parenting.
the family. The function of it's a failed parenthood if anybody lose their children here. Because yes, I understand that economic realities might be that the father is a banker, the mother works in a multinational, they both leave home very early in the morning and they come back at night. But my dear, there's something called sacrifice. There's something called sacrifice. You need to sacrifice some things. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I used to be a 9-to-5 guy. And at some point I considered it, I asked myself, there's a need, I have 2 sons like I mentioned earlier, there's a need for me to be closer to these boys. Maybe because I am privileged, I left a paying job, I started my own business. These days, I spend more time with my sons. I take them for football trainings every Saturdays. I go out with them. I train with them.
Daddy of the year.
You understand? Because the truth is, the time you spend with them now, you can never reclaim. And we do not realize something in life. Once they are in secondary school, once they are out of secondary school, they are out of your house. They go to the university, they only come home when they are on breaks. After universities, they don't want to stay in their house.
No.
They want to start their own life and everything. So where's the memory you have built with them? Is that when you want to start building memories with them? That's why you see people that are grown up now, and then their parents will be calling them like, you weren't close to me when I was young. Now that you are old and lonely, you want me to come and spend the time I should be bonding with my own children with you. Or you want my children to come and be bonding with an old man. No, let them bond with me.
Wow.
So people will say, you can't go to Granny. If you go to Granny today, you come back tomorrow. Or Granny wants them to come and stay the entire holiday or every weekend. But it's not possible. This person too wants to bond with these children. You understand? So it's a function of, you got to sacrifice something to gain something. That is the truth. Because if you don't do that, at the end of the day, time is fleeting. Time is really fleeting. So at what point in time do you want to bond with them? At what point in time do you want to spend time with them? At what point in time do you want to say, okay, we as a family, as a unit, we spent time together? And it's a major factor. That's why you see people marry these days and there's a sharp division because people are raised differently. People are raised differently and you can't compare anything to family love. Family love and bonding, nothing compares to it, nothing. In my own view, nothing compares to it.
So my last question would be, would there ever be a time or would anything ever happen that will make you say, I want to relocate?
If for whatever reason I have to relocate, 2 things. Family. It would be if it's going to be of advantage to probably my wife and the kids, number one, then it has to be for a limited number of years.
Yes.
So it has to be structured. If it's 10 years, it's 10 years. If it's 5 years, it's 5 years. But do I see myself leaving Nigeria to go and live abroad, like live another 20, 30 years? No.
It's late.
I have every logistics to make it happen. But I enjoy when I take trips instead. I travel, stay 1 month, and I come back. Because even at the end of the 1 month, sometimes you are bored.
You're tired.
You are the one that is looking for people to hang out with and do all of that. I was telling a friend a couple of weeks ago that this one that UK and Canada has now given an opportunity for visitors to work. I said, but you know, when you have to wake up like 5 a.m., you see them jumping from one train station to go and work somewhere. Some of us, for the fact that we are averagely okay in Nigeria. And you know, Nigerians, we see, like as you said, Nigerians just like to live good life, enjoy, and we can be a bit proud. I came for holiday. Yes, I want the money, but if I just want to be sleeping and enjoying it, do I want to stress myself with all of this? How many of us would go and do that care job where you have to take care of somebody, you have not been properly briefed about it, but because of the money, you might even mess it up.
Yes.
Canada too has allowed you to come. Okay, so if you come now, you can, with your visitor's visa, you can get a job. If you can do it, fine. But for me, if I want to relocate, like I said, family. If it's not family, if it's just me, that's long ago. So, and if it's family too, it needs to be structured. Do I want children that would not identify with their roots? No. Do I want where you have to, so the kids will not have to be shown some places after 30 years and they don't even understand it? No. So for whatever reason, I think it just has to be family and it must be structured, well planned.
How about you, Ganzi?
It's never been a consideration for me. I can't lie. It's never been a consideration. Maybe if I get an international job and I'm living with my family, work for a while, and then still come back home to Nigeria. Or God forbid, there are things that can happen. God forbid that we have a war or we have anything breaking out that will make Nigeria inhabitable for any one of us. God would never let that happen.
Amen.
But otherwise, I'm a Nigerian by every means of it, and I love this country.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. There was a question that I should have asked. That would just be a bonus, but I know that we can stretch that whole thing. But I just want to ask because I should have. I wanted to ask that, is it for the money? Why do we think people will, like the care job that we're saying, people would not do it here? Nigerians would not do such a job here, but will comfortably do it abroad. We will even be proud to say it. Of course, Nigerians we are always proud of what we do with our hands. Contrary to, yes, our dignity in our labor, contrary to what a lot of countries believe that, Nigerians, they do frauds. No, Nigerians, we are happy in our labor. So, but why do you think Nigerians would leave this country and would not do some certain jobs and they will go abroad and do even worse?
Money.
Simple.
Just money.
It's just
money.
I said it.
So you think that guy, that's okay, I don't want to put a name to it or a position to it. That poor guy here that will not do a cleaner here, even if he's paid, I don't know, even if he's paid that equivalent.
They can never pay the equivalent, my sister. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Okay.
They can never pay the equivalent. Okay. You can't be a cleaner in Nigeria and earn 500,000 naira. It's not possible.
What if?
It's not possible.
Do you think we are going to do it in Nigeria?
So
it's not possible.
Okay.
Let me tell you the way that can change.
Okay.
Apart from the exchange rate, apart from the fact that we had to convert dollars, pounds to naira. The day we start paying people according to the hours that they work, a lot of people will not leave Nigeria to go and work abroad. Because the moment you now have to pay people according to the hours, then the hours will be tangible. It will be valid. So you know that my hour is worth it. If I'm doing 8 hours or 10 hours, then you will have Nigerians who will do 3 shifts in this country. You will have somebody who works as a cleaner in a restaurant and does 7 a.m. to like 2 p.m. and resumes another job at 4 p.m. somewhere else and probably closes at 10 p.m. And if he thinks he can still do another 6 hours, he will do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
When you pay according to hours, the way the employment space in Nigeria is wired, so we do the monthly basis. Abroad, they don't pay per month. They pay per hours. Even as a professional, you are paid for the hours that you work. If we do so, but why we pay in Nigeria, because we do a sum total. But when you are paid according to your productive hours, where if you do not come to work today, you are not paid. But in Nigeria, if you don't come to work for a day or 2 days and you didn't inform your boss and you have deducted for that, Yes, you see your boss as a bad person.
That's right.
No, the Oyinbo man is not bad. You do not come, you will
No
not get
money.
paid. Even when you come, if you work for 4 hours, you are paid for 4 hours.
That's right.
There's no magic of 8 hours. But if it's Nigeria, there is the sentiment. She bosha one now. Yeah.
Hey, boy, do you know the truth? Nigerians won't do 5 shifts in Nigeria.
That's the thing.
Do you know why? I'll give you an example. How many whites do the number of shifts you blacks that travel there to go and do? It's their country. They're not under that pressure.
They don't.
In your country, you are earning just enough. You are fine. You are not under pressure to remit anything to anywhere. No. Nigerians are doing those because they have whatever to remit back home to Nigeria. Remember in the 80s, this many jobs you're talking about, it has happened here. Ghanaians
will come here.
Were all over Nigeria, working as shoemakers. They were selling pop-off. They were the ones that were doing most of the many jobs. They were plumbers. They were the tilers. They were the gardeners. Ghanaians, because Nigerian money was very good. They would earn in Nigeria, earn naira, and then take it back to their country to change to their cities. If we're not under pressure, why would you do it? Why would a white man do five shifts?
Why our brothers from the white part of Africa? Why is it that they just
don't work
to drink alcohol, money
they don't work,
and they hate Nigerians?
So why would I want to do 5 shifts in my country? The time I will be doing shifts, these guys will be taking. They will be taking beer. They'll be licking beer. What shift am I doing? You just want to earn enough. You just want to earn enough and be comfortable.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. See, I do not like people coming on the show and going empty-handed. So I have this little gift, and I'm sure you will take it with love. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I am grateful. The Talks of B team and I, we appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
So much, Zach.
Thank you, man.
All right, guys. This is where I'll be saying goodbye. I'm sure you've learned a thing or two. You can if you want to, but think twice. Is it worth it? What age are you really? Are you ready to face the cold? Do you have something that is substantial doing here? Is it worth it for you? Please do not travel, do not relocate, because everybody is doing it. Whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. I'll see you same time next week on this same channel. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do. We can also help you advertise your products with not so much, okay? All right, I remain Dr. Abiola Adebayo Akinrede. Do not forget, in whatever thing you're doing, put God first, be determined, and stay focused. I love you, and God bless you.